Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, Andrea and I have a special guest with us today, Brooke Senior Matthes from Delaware. Hey, Brooke.
Hello.
Andrea,
Hi,
hey.
Brook. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very interesting topic today that I know so many of us struggle with, which is one, beginning to understand when this awakening process happens, the kind of work that we do to start off, but then maybe some of the blocks that we have as we're going along this course, and what it actually takes to overcome these. And if you don't want to call them blocks, that's fine too. But sometimes we get stuck in this mindset of not necessarily um, going with the flow and what it takes to overcome those. And Brooke is here to help us share some of her stories that she has dealt with over the years, and hopefully this resonates with some of you guys to help you push you over the edge on wherever you're at. Maybe you're stuck in a spot and you just need that little extra inspiration that she can provide to help you begin to put this work in and do what you're. So with that being said, let's take a minute, and Brooke, if you could just share a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What have you done to this point? When did you realize that you were uh, somebody that is spiritually awaking? If you could share some of that information with us at this time.
Okay, let's see. Who am I? Well, I guess from the human standpoint, I am a wife and a mother of three. Um, and then I guess it took me a long time to figure out. I say a long time, but then I guess there's something in me that always knew. Um, but definitely it's been a journey. I mean, even from the time I was little, I used to play Jesus when I was little. I mean, I don't know if that's something most normal kids play, but I remember trying to heal everybody, and well, instead of leprosy, I call it leopard spots because that's how I took it as a child. And then went on my normal teenage life to, I guess, be your typical brat, and have we all have our own little issues we go through. So when I say when did the awakening start, it's honestly hard to say because I believe it was just seasons of awakening, a little bit at a time, and then just every life experience I'd have, something else would open up. I feel like there was a huge awakening just a few years ago. And then I say that, and I'll look back at Facebook memories of something I said or posted, and I'm like, well, wow, I guess I was more awake then than I knew I was. So I guess it definitely comes in seasons.
Yep.
Um, I feel like my biggest has been recently. I I want to say my biggest awakening was when I always had this question of who am I? And I think that's something we all ask. We all want to know what our purpose is. We all want a purpose. And for me, I always knew it was people. I always knew it was helping. I always found myself in jobs of, caregiving or service to people. And so I thought that was it. Well, I'm here just to serve.
So,
And
oh,
then a few years ago, just with the internet and everything, more and more things come out, and you find something you resonate with, and you find something that hits something in you. And, a few years ago, I came across things on Starseeds, and I'm reading, and I'm like, huh, am I? Am I? Am I this? Am I? Because this sounds like me. But then I'm like, oh well, these are kind of things just like anything. There's like symptoms to go along with everything, and I think everybody can somewhere fit in that category. So I always dismiss certain things, still questioning, well, who am I really? And I think that was actually a block for me, constantly questioning who I am instead of just going along with what I felt inside that I was. So I think that was definitely a big block, is just me questioning who I am.
And before we get into those blocks and that question, because that's definitely a heavy topic and really a main point that I think Andrea and I would like to discuss today are those aspects of the awakening process where you do question much. But before we get there, if I could ask you, so I understand you definitely had a lot of situations throughout your life that you look back at now and we're like, oh wow, that was an indication that I am awakening. But was there ever a single occurrence that ever happened to you to where you were like, okay, there's definitely a shift going on and I can feel my gravitational pull shifting to this spiritual direction?
Yeah, I mean, the first experience I could think of in life was when I was about 23. I guess before 21,
How old are you
22.
now?
I feel like when I was younger, I feel like life was ignorance is bliss. I feel like I just kind of like la 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 floated along.
Mm-hmm.
I had my first bout of depression at 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, real deal thinking depression. And I feel like that was actually the kickoff of something bigger.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Do you now when okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and explain that a little bit more. At 21.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's when I realized there was a spiritual battle,
Mm-hmm.
because I think, like most people I know in my life that suffer from depression, um, or like they say they're suffering from depression.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it a little different now. But I know most people think it's, they're like, oh gosh, and then when the depression comes in. But for me, it was never oh gosh, what's happening to me? Like right then and there, I just knew I was in a battle.
Mm.
Right then and there, like I was never like, why me? Why this depression? My question throughout the whole thing was, why am I letting evil win? And that's that was how I felt the depression was. It wasn't this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Well, it was happening to me, but it was more of like I felt it was the battle began. Like that's when the battle began.
That's very, very, very interesting because I agree with you. And the universal laws of energy tell us, or actually, we've actually channeled here on this podcast about the ego mind and the heart space and releasing into the heart. And when we allow the mind to get too involved into our lives, the ego mind is actually an aspect of the lower vibrations in this realm. And so that I love the mindset there of the battle between the two and the rethinking of depression and aspects of it and redirecting your focus more to higher vibrational thoughts. That that's such a powerful mentality, and kudos to you for finding that.
Yeah, well, I like the one of my strongest beliefs is really only those who've seen the darkness can truly see the light. And I had a childhood that was bliss. I had no real problems in life. I had great parents, great upbringing, so I didn't have a trauma. I think some people have a trauma that brings this out in them, and I didn't have that. So I guess this was the source's way of giving me something. And looking back now, I do question, like, no, I do believe the depression was real for me. Then later on in life, I do start to question what I was actually taking from other people. At this time, I didn't really realize how energy works
Mm-hmm.
and how you can take on energies from other people at this time. But I will take all of my depressive experiences, and I'm actually to a point now to where I appreciate it and I wait for the dark times to see what new I'm going to learn. But honestly, I may be done with it. It's been quite a while since I've had a true dark day. I'll
Whoa.
never think it's completely gone, because I know if
Yeah.
there's something more for me to learn, it can come back. But at this point, I'm feeling like I've learned what I was supposed to from it, and feel like I've been pretty clear of that type of negativity for a long time.
That's beautiful. Congratulations. That's no small feat. Seriously, that's no joke. There, good for you. And I don't say that. I mean, I say that sincerely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What
Thank you.
now? You're welcome. You were talking about absorbing energy. Are you an empath? Are you someone that feels a lot?
So, I guess that was my whole life's question of what am I? What am I? What am I? Um, and so, yeah, I've always resonated with everything that goes along with being an empath. I, and I guess it's like the one thing that's hit me since I came to you was I think part of my blockage was being too worried about finding out who I am and what I am instead of just going with it. And, then you kind of confirmed for me that they mentioned me as a light worker. And I guess that helped me go, okay, so I guess I, do hold something. But yeah, I've always looked at myself as an empath. And I guess how it works for me, in one way, it's always a feeling. But in another way, it's simply, I guess I call myself a peacemaker. I can be in a work situation and it's like I know people.
Hmm.
I guess I feel like I see their soul. So it's like no matter how brash or harsh or hateful somebody comes off, it's like I know whether that's really them or not. And usually it's not them,
Yeah, gotcha.
And it's like I automatically know that. And I've mostly done my work as a peacemaker to where people confide in me
Hmm.
and I can have one person come to me and confide in me about their issue with another person. And then I'll have that other person that they were talking about will come and confide in me about the issue they have with the other person.
Uh,
And that's when I then start to turn and go, and I guess I used to call it playing devil's advocate, when I would try to explain where the one person may have been coming from,
hmm.
for the other person.
Yep.
And so I find myself mostly in those type of situations to where I'm explaining to another person that, I don't think this person meant it that way. I think maybe they were having a bad day or this was coming from a place in them that, they kind of triggered and threw that onto you, deflected that onto you. So I find myself in those situations a lot of peacemaking.
Gotcha. And as a light worker, it makes so much sense that, as we all are, because Andrea is an empath too. I sense a little bit of empathic feelings, and then you. So this is actually really cool in that we have three different, majorly different aspects of what an empath is. But then on the other side, what a light worker is, and light workers. What is interesting here is that we are all the same in that Andrea has people go to her for advice. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And as
Strangers.
yes, exactly. We light workers have that energy that just attracts people to us for comfort. I mean, it's just our energy. Now,
Yeah.
also to elaborate a little bit more for people, I did have a channeling session for Brooke last week, which is how this whole interview came up, because there were a lot of things that came out about Brooke during that session that I thought was very, very cool. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up at this point, and I feel goes along with what you were just saying, Brooke, in that you are an energetic chameleon. Again, am I saying that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so I really
Well,
wanted to
it's
hear
like
about
I
that.
was somebody else made that reference and I was like, well, that's weird that he said that because that's what I've always said about myself. It's
Yeah,
as
explain that to us.
awkward as I can be around people and as nervous as I get to be with somebody that I'm not used to talking to, at the same time it's only a matter of time of when I'm with them that my energy just changes completely and I can meet them right where they are.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So does your energy, it's not you absorbing their energy, it's just your energy level getting to the level at which they are. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's like to this day, if I'm having and I will say, I did want to throw that in that a big thing that helped me a few years ago. So I'm gonna put this out there if it'll help anybody else. I wasn't aware of, I only became aware of energy and vibrations and frequencies just a few years ago. But when I learned all of that, it just automatically made so much sense to me. But it was only a few years ago that I watched this quick video. It was like how to see energy in 5 minutes. So I got intrigued and I pushed it. And then I watched some more videos on this guy who just went on to say, like, once you are aware of energy, you can learn how to manipulate energy. And so, being a mom in a house, you set the tone, and I've, like I said, I'm a lot more of a pleasant person now than I was years ago. I was usually always very edgy as a mom, very snappy, short fused, not proud of some of my younger mom moments. Glad I've moved to where I was. But when I learned about energy, it helped because I would realize how my energy would influence this entire house. And so when I would be in a good mood and find my kids start getting a little yucky, I would go, okay, I have to change the energy in this house. And that's when I would go, I would be silly about it. I guess everything's spiritual. Some people take this very serious route with it. I mean, I always take it seriously, but I do it a little more funny, so I would go grab a smudge stick and I'd light it and I'd run around the kids and I would, just yell funny things. But really, I was just changing the energy of the house, and then before I knew it, we were all in a good mood again. And I'm like, okay, so that's when I learned to kind of say, well, whatever situation I'm in, I can change the energy here.
Well, man.
And I think we all can.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. 100% we can. So you did it through comedy? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I do. I change things in a funny way.
So you feel it. All right. So you feel it, and then you take that and you consciously do things to bring that smile to people.
Yeah, and I don't think up until that couple of years ago is when I started doing it consciously. I believe that I've always done it subconsciously, but now I'm just a lot more conscious of it.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing, and you're absolutely right. We all can in different ways, because I know Andrea does a lot of work with energy shifting that we were talking about, Andrea, that one time with your empath video. Do you ever do it for remote places, Andrea? I forget if we ever tackled that.
Like with Reiki and such. Is that?
I guess that's one aspect.
I mean, that's how I would do it remotely, but not lately.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So Andrea does it with Reiki. I'll do it with light work that I do. Little techniques that I've picked up over the years. So, okay, what else now, since you kind of, Brooke, since you have come to the realization that this is like part of your journey, your path, what specific work have you been doing over the years since you've kind of realized this is where you're going? And I'm assuming it was 21. Is that my understanding? That's kind of when you made that shift and really started.
Well, I feel like that's when the first major shift came in. I feel like, I can't connect to somebody else if I've never, well, I can't say that because I can connect to people that even if I have not experienced what they've experienced, I still can feel a level of it. But I feel like what God has done with me throughout my entire life is, a lot of people think that things are just happening to them. I never looked at it like that. I always looked at it that God was giving me another experience to be able to connect to another human that was going to be put in my path at some point in my life. I mean, down to the simple fact of I could have somebody complaining about heartburn, and I could maybe insensitively think in my head of, oh gosh, could it possibly be that bad? That's all this girl ever complains about. Well, lo and behold, the next day I have my first bout of heartburn. Wow. Like a severe case. So it's like I feel like he's always let me experience, like I know now not to question anybody's pain or suffering, because I feel like I will get my chance to experience it if I doubt it.
Wow. That's interesting. So, okay. So, have you ever taken like any type of training, or like are you into Reiki at all? Have you done like, meditations? Have you taken anybody's class to help you learn more about energy, or tell me about your like what kind of work you've put into this?
Okay, so at this point, up until a few years ago, I guess I completely was trial and error of my life. And I would have just seasons of awakenings. But I do feel like a big awakening happened when I discovered Reiki and
So you do Reiki.
wanted to pursue that. So it came along just first in a we get a little paper in the mail of things going on. You can pay for these little classes and stuff. And I saw that there was Reiki, and it was a time I was available. So I automatically got super excited about it. And my friend Nova, actually, her and I both felt it. And we went together. And even from that first class, I was just like, oh yeah, this is where I belong. Like this is it. And her and I just dove right into it. But I feel like I guess we don't always have a partner in the journey.
Yes.
You're lucky for me, I did. And her and I went through this last awakening kind of together. And it was cool to have somebody else validate some things that I don't feel like everybody could validate for us.
Yep.
But, we kind of had each other to go through this with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, doing Reiki definitely opened me up to something more. I do not practice Reiki as much as I should.
Mm-hmm.
That's always something that's in the back of my head that I still should be doing more with it and could be doing more with it. But yeah, we both went on to do we both are to the master class.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we pursued it all the way through.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if I don't think I did it, as much to be, for a profession to do Reiki.
Yeah.
I feel like I did it more for myself.
Gotcha.
And enlightenment. Now I do use it. I use it when people don't know I'm using it. It just helped me understand more how energy worked and the entities that help us with it,
Gotcha.
and from the time I was younger, I never took credit for what it is that I am or I do. I always knew it was a higher source using me because from a young age, I said, I'm yours,
Mm-hmm.
Do what you will with me and use me. I've said that from a young age. And I think that even getting involved in Reiki, that's just simply what you're saying.
Yep.
You're saying that it's free will. And you're saying, I am here, I'm volunteering to be used, as a conduit. But
Very good
like I said, I
point.
feel long before that, I already asked to be used.
Yes. You know what? Well, speaking of being used, I feel you brought up an extremely interesting topic, and one in which that the Starseed topic. That's a topic we have not addressed yet on the podcast, and one that I believe you're not alone in the sense that I think Andrea is one as well. But
Yeah.
is that one that you wouldn't mind? Would you mind talking about that a little bit more first? Could you tell us what a starseed is for those that don't know?
And to be honest, it's something like a couple of years ago when I really got into it and started doing like the research. And you'll read the same things over and over again. But I think just the biggest thing for me was finally feeling like I knew a little bit more about myself when it's like, oh, okay, so this makes sense to me. And exactly what it is hard to say. I know that I recognize others.
Mm-hmm.
I know that
Recognize others in what way?
What
do you mean by you recognize others?
Like I can it's easy for me to recognize other starseeds or other empaths.
Really?
And honestly, when it comes to what a starseed really is, it is hard to explain because I don't know. I don't know. Is there a million of us? Are there 1,000 of us? Are there 5 million of us? I don't know. And myself, from what I feel, I feel that I was sent here for a specific purpose in a specific time period.
Gotcha. And
That's just my feeling that comes from me.
okay,
Um,
I think that's a good one.
yeah, it's like I keep saying like now's the time. Now's the time. It's like starseeds activate, you know.
Yes. Well, you know what, Andrea, do you have like is there a guideline or a definition that you necessarily sense? Because I think Andrea has that in her as well. Is that something?
That I sense with other people.
No. That
Oh.
how you define the term a star seed. I just looking
Oh.
to clarify for some people that aren't familiar with that term.
Well, I mean, just like Brooke said, like I'm still kind of researching it too. For so long, I felt
Okay.
something was going on with me, and I like when we had talked, I recently confirmed that I am.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm still trying to figure it all out as
So I
well.
think my understanding is that, well, in a world of darkness, we need beacons of light, you know?
Yeah.
And from my understanding is that there have been waves of starseeds or, you know, even light workers, which I don't know, maybe that's one and the same, you know, but there have been waves like so many were sent and it was kind of like, oh, you know what, this isn't enough.
Yep.
We need to send more, you know, and that more were sent. And it's like, okay, like we, you know, and that part of why we're here is to, in the easy terms, be cheerleaders.
Yes.
You know, and to help raise people up.
Correct.
And to help ultimately raise the vibration of the planet.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And then hope that our light is contagious.
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, okay, so I'll share my thoughts on it. One, I do believe personally, because I'm a light worker, but I am not a starseed. So I do believe that there is a difference there. And my interpretation of a starseed and things that I've channeled over the years is that a starseed has spent time as another life form. So you have these multidimensional beings that I even work with, Arcturians. I just had the Lemurians come in the other day and are guiding me to a new location. And so you, Andrea, and others I've channeled recently for several star seeds. And what they tell me is that, so you have spent time in another life form. And you are exactly right, Brooke, in that your purpose here in this lifetime is to help raise the conscious level. We're in this dense third dimensional physical aspect of our soul in this plane, Earth. But you guys and light workers like myself are here to be that beacon of light for people to see, and then to hopefully, when they do see it, choose to rise to that level of love and unconditional love, acceptance, and just being more peaceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was not an easy road. I struggled. I struggled a lot. I think a big step that helps people is when they finally just figure out that that's what it is. Because I've had a lot of darkness in my life, and nothing that's happened in real life around me, just within my soul.
Yes.
And I think one of the things I always struggled with was having some darkness in my head, and then having other people always praise me and see me as light and compliment me as being a wonderful person. And I never understood it because I'm like, gosh, if they knew how dark my thoughts were in my head, like they wouldn't think this. So it was honestly other people that pointed me to the direction that I was a star seed, because I never understood why people thought I was so amazing, because inside I didn't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I came to a point to where, you know, good thing all this self-love guru stuff came out. And then I finally got to a point where I was like, okay, I have to heal myself, you know, and that was my mantra in my head for a long time was heal yourself, heal the world, heal yourself, heal the world. So I knew I had to heal myself.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, like, seriously, that is not little. That is a major, major mindset that you had there that is so imperative to the awakening process. that understanding there where you heal yourself, you heal the world, that is a major, major understanding. When did you have that, if you don't mind me asking?
That was probably about a year and a half ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Because up until then, I mean, I still beat myself up occasionally, but I think I'm gotten much better on not beating myself up. But
Good.
a lot of my life I would beat myself up because I would think if a dark or bad thought came in my head that was mine and that defined who I was.
Yep.
And I learned now that it doesn't define me. My husband, who has been a big part of making me who I am, and he would always tell me, he's like, that's not what other people see.
Yep.
He's like, people don't see those things in your head. They see your heart. They see what you do. They see how you treat others. He said, you're the only one that knows that's in there. He said, to stop telling people.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, well, okay. So let me ask you this. What then, as you have gone along in this process, right? Now, do you meditate much?
I should meditate a lot more.
Okay.
It's hard for me to find the time, the peace, the silence, which is I know exactly what I need to do.
Yep.
So since I was last with you, I was like, okay, I have to find a place. I have to find somewhere. So that's now my minivan. So I'm really happy that I have a minivan right now because that's where I go to meditate. And it has been amazing. The way the bench seat is behind me, it makes it like perfect for me to lay back on. I have a cushion out there that I sit on. It's been great. So that's my new spot to go to is the van.
Yo, any spot works. Oh my gosh, yeah. So would you say that what do you feel? Look, okay, you've come a long way, and it sounds like from what I'm hearing so far, it was a lot of self-discovery to this point.
Yes.
Who you are, what you're meant to do in this world. Now, okay, so with all of that self-discovery, are you now at the point where you tell me where you're at in this journey now that you understand so much more and you have discovered yourself in very powerful ways? Where are you heading now? Oh, like, where are you? What feelings are you having that are kind of pushing you in certain directions? And what do
Okay.
you feel like blocks you from going there, if we can use that term? Actually, Andrea gave me other terms to use. What were they earlier? I'm so sorry. Those terms on the blocks. I said blocks. What you say?
Oh, yeah. I was saying just like for me personally, procrastination, having motivation.
Yes.
Yeah. Or distractions.
Yes,
Oh.
that's a big one.
Good call. And I am so sorry because I don't like the word blocks. I love your word, your terminology, both you ladies, so much better.
Yeah, it's like I had stuck watching TV. I don't ever watch TV here, and we're watching this people eat chicken wings all day on interviews, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's distracting me. I'm letting this distract me from what I'm like, I should at least be out in the van right now. So, just since I think I just made a huge hurdle, I knew I was supposed to come see you, even if it was just for some type of push or something to move me forward. So I think a big distraction that I just got over was I found myself very preoccupied of having to know like where I came from, like what race did I come from, what star did I come from, what planet did I found myself very preoccupied with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And since talking to you, and I think it was a big wham, most of my epiphanies will come in the shower.
Yes, that
I guess
makes
because
sense.
you're doing something mindless, so it's a type of meditation.
Yeah. And the water, too. The water is a huge connector.
Yes. So there will be sites that I'm on, and these people, claim that they know exactly like who they are and where they're from. And I'm like, well, gosh, I must not be at a certain level yet because I don't know that. Mm-hmm. I don't know that my name is Nebula of, wherever, so wow, they must really know something that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And last night, it came to me, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
It doesn't matter where exactly you're from because we're everywhere. We are all everywhere. We are all everything. It doesn't matter, and then translated that to us as humans, and how we put so much on race and gender. And I'm like, from the human perspective, I see where we get pride in our heritage. I see where we get pride if we're Native American, or we have pride if we're African American, or we have pride if we're, Italian or whatever. It's like, from the human perspective, I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to move way past that.
Totally.
And get to a point to where we do understand that we are all just one.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter.
Yo, can I hold on before we go on? Because that point is so huge. Can I just play something for you ladies real quick?
Yeah.
It's a sound effect that I have had for. I don't know if you can hear that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That one.
I know it's really, the sound is really low on my phone. I'm like, find myself holding it up to hear you guys.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But that's cool.
Yeah, it really is. And it's such a major point. I know that's going to resonate with a lot of people out here, because sometimes we do get hung up on those details and we can't seem to get past them, rather than just being in the moment and accepting what it is we do know. And I have been seeing so many people around this world on some of the groups that I belong in, where they are just getting hung up on this detail of like, okay, I need to know minute details and I need to know them now. And that's not necessarily
distractions.
True. Yes. So
that's all it is.
So true.
So and I just came to that just since you and I talked. So, like I said, that's new for me. So hopefully maybe that's a conscious thing that I've just put out there that other people that I will click with them too right now. But yeah, I found myself so wrapped up in, wow, how's this guy know, what star planet he's from? And then I look under and I see him make a kind of rude comment to somebody else. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. I would like, okay, well, maybe he's not as enlightened as I thought he was,
Yes. I totally get
but,
that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we're from. It's just we're
everything
from everywhere, and ultimately all one.
Exactly right. Even the low vibrational ones, we are one with. Exactly.
Yes.
So, okay. All right. So now that we've come to that realization that we all are one, what is there anything that you're doing differently? I know you said you're going to the van now to meditate, which I feel is beautiful. Is there anything else that you just like tell us about that process other than meditation? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing differently, if anything? And if not, no worries.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my thing is just, I've never been, as much as I would like to be a homebody, something always draws me out. Matter of fact, even through my, when I would go through my dark times, therapy I would do for myself, as I called it, smile therapy. And I would, no matter if I wanted to stay in bed and pull the covers over my head, I would force myself to go to the mall and just walk around and smile at people. And it is insane when you see reactions from people.
Exactly.
Because people just walk along with this look on their face and, maybe oblivious to what's going on around them, or I don't know what they're thinking. But when you make eye contact with somebody and you just give them a big smile and say hi, to watch their faces turn and see their face light up that somebody else acknowledged them. And so that's just something I just try to put myself out around people as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Of course, I've always had the people come to me, and when it rains, it pours. It seems like we do go through some cycles of darkness, attack, or just energy changes, because I noticed that as soon as one phone call starts of somebody who is having a bad time and needs me, my phone is blowing up for, a couple days in a row.
Yep.
And then I find myself that my batteries got depleted, that I was doing a good job when I was with them, and then I find that a couple days later, it took everything from me.
How do you
but I
recharge?
wasn't aware of that back when that was happening. And now that I became aware of, that's what's happening. So whenever I go through those things with them, I'm completely made to be there for them. but I then need to take time to recharge.
How do you
And
do
so
that?
that would be a good time probably to meditate and get some energy back.
Gotcha. Is that how you recharge then, to meditation?
It's becoming, it's
Okay.
now that I'm learning more about meditation and how important it
Yep.
is becoming one of my tools. Um, but before that, it was just take rides around in my car and scream my fun music.
Oh, all right. I mean, that
That
works
was one of
too.
my ways of recharging.
Yeah, whatever. Well, whatever gets that energy out, gets it moving. I feel like that. Yeah, totally. That all works. That's cool.
Yeah, but I do feel like meditation is a way to be more conscious of what it is I'm, because when I was doing, the music or the this or that, I wasn't conscious of what I was doing. I
Hmm.
wasn't aware that I was trying to bring my energy back or trying to bring my energy up or recharge my batteries.
Hmm.
Now I'm more conscious of what's going on when I deal with people. And then now I know, oh, I can do this a lot quicker if I just meditate, instead of going through days of recharging.
Hmm.
I could possibly recharge in a half an hour to an hour now. Put me on the charger,
Yep. 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 Totally. And well, and meditation provides us with that mindfulness that we so often need to notice that shift in energy when we're working with people, to begin to sense that and know, okay, all right, I'm picking up something that might not be good or might not be helpful to my own energy. And then meditation, yeah, from that mindfulness, then we can go into that meditative state to consciously get rid of that,
Yes.
and
And
use.
that's, I think mindfulness, I mean, for some people, they've known about mindfulness for 20 years or longer.
Hmm. Hmm.
For me, I just became fully aware of mindfulness. I keep saying 2 years. I keep throwing that number out there. But I feel like it's been about 2 years that I've been fully aware of mindfulness. My brain is always in a hurry. I
Yes.
am always in a hurry. And one day walking into work as I'm hustling and bustling, I just went, stop, slow down, like half your pace, take a deep breath, look at the sun. It's not going to matter if you get to that door, 10 seconds faster. Just take the time to take this breath. And that started like 2 years ago that just moment hit me. And then I found myself walking around with mantras, you know, because the worse I'd feel about myself, the more I would just walk around and go, I am light, I am love, I am healing. I am light, I am love, I am healing. So I found myself for a long period doing that, and that made a huge difference. Just the worse I felt, I wouldn't feel light and love, but when the times that I would not is when I would say it the most.
Mm,
So I found like that was a big thing. But mindfulness, yes, has become a huge help for me.
gotcha. Yeah, I completely agree. I thought it was one of the largest aspects of one of the most helpful aspects of this whole awakening process for myself. And Andrea, how often do you meditate, if you don't mind me asking?
I do try and do it every day.
Really?
It is easier in the shower too. I do that too, Brooke. Like
Yeah,
just to get rid
something
of
with the water.
distractions. Yeah, and it's quiet and the water feels healing. So that's like my main space right now.
Yeah. Well, the water is, man. It is such a cleansing tool that we have and can use on this plane. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Awesome. So, all right, Brooke. Well, honestly, that really is what we had for today. We're at the 45-minute mark. So, I don't know if you're interested, but typically I'll go into a channel during these podcasts just to see if they come up and have anything for us. If you want to stay on for that, you're more than welcome to. But if not, we can definitely say our goodbyes now. It's up to you.
No, absolutely. I'm going to hang in there for that.
All right. Let's see who comes in because I'm curious. Andrea, obviously, of course, if you have any questions, do you need anything before we go in?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you as always. All right. Just going to take a quick moment. And Brooke, thank you again. I really appreciate you joining Andrea and I today. It's been awesome. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And I know a lot of people are going to resonate with a lot of um, the same experiences, not experiences, but occurrences that you've had in your life to where, there's a lot of uncertainty and then you realize that shift and are moving in that direction. So that's really cool. Okay. Enoch speaking. My children, blessed are we all today to have this opportunity to connect with not only you all, but the three individuals here on this podcast. For we are all of divine light, and light is absolutely an inspiration with the three individuals here today. You, all my children, including the audience, are of the light and are encouraged to become one with it. For you are, many of you, are light workers and here with a true purpose in this lifetime to bring about a greater awareness, a greater perspective. This is how we communicate with light workers, to encourage greater awarenesses and greater perspectives. Not necessarily lights in the darkness, for yes, you are this, but to bring about greater perspectives to the collective. You have a major aspect in your lifetime to raise this collective consciousness that is reigning on this plane. The aspects of so many that are confused during these times are where you as light workers and starseeds come into play. Starseeds have a greater importance on this plane, for you all, my children, have deeper abilities that are much more ingrained into your soul aspect. For you as a starseed have incurred many lifetimes on different realms. This has allowed for your soul to inherently rise in its vibration, and thus you bring a greater power to this planetary realm. Please do not make light of this ability, and we encourage you all to train diligently with your abilities so that you may allow for the opportunities to be more in flow with who you are as an individual and the abilities that you possess and carry with you during these times. Starseeds are extremely powerful beings and are encouraged to truly in he's looking for a word right now, where you accept, correct? We are encouraging Christopher to indicate words of acceptance for starseeds. We are looking for the collective starseed group levels to begin to accept who you are fully and move in the direction of who you are and embrace your gifts, for they are extremely powerful and meant for an extreme purpose on this plane. When you begin to fully accept the abilities that you possess, you are going to raise the consciousness of this plane, even in an essence of not knowing fully the capabilities or the extent at which you affect so many. You do have the ability, and it will affect so many, even when it is not necessarily known firsthand. You are affecting individuals in your sleep, and you are not necessarily realizing this at the moment. The more you realize the opportunities that are presented to you are just one facet of the opportunities that are actually brought to you. For on a soul level, your soul is working diligently while you sleep to communicate with billions of souls to help them manifest even more so their own light and love. Hence, which is why we say you are here to rise the consciousness level of the collective. For it is these times when you are sleeping that you are affecting so many more without even truly understanding the full concept of number and quantity of souls that you are truly impacting. For we encourage you, and this is important to understand, this aspect of the soul level is one of greatness and one that is needed. For when you move in the direction of your true power, your true light, and true understanding of who you are and what you bring to this plane, that puts you in complete alignment with yourself, with your power, with the abilities that you have, and thus allows you to fully begin to become the teacher that you are in raising the consciousness of the collective. This is no small aspect, my children, and we speak to all starseeds to come forward at this time to be one with who you are and assist even now so more than ever it is needed deeply to raise the consciousness level of this plane. We call forth to you all as a beacon of light. We are from above. Ask for our assistance and we shall be there. Enoch speaking, my children, and we are grateful for this opportunity to connect with you all. Proceed in peace and one with your true self identity as a soul, but yes, as a collective of one. You all are. We love you and encourage you to go in peace. Thank you. Always such amazing messages, I feel. Man. I don't know about you ladies, but I feel like I learn so much more every time they channel. And I thank you, Enoch, so much for coming through and sharing your wisdom with us all. And with that, before we summarize, is there any last word that you have, Brooke?
No, I just felt a little more validation with that also. There's been a lot going on the last 2 weeks in my sleep.
Really?
And I feel like I've been having conversations in my sleep, and I keep saying when I get up and write them down, and I don't, but they're not anything deep. It must be something else. I don't know, but that just resonated with me.
Wow.
There's
awesome.
been a lot going on the last 2 weeks in my sleep.
Very, very interesting. Okay. Andrea, anything you'd like to share before we just summarize real quick?
No, I mean, I wake up to Brooke in the middle of the night and I always think, oh, I need to write this stuff down. But I haven't been. And it's just that I think I need to start too.
I know. I keep being encouraged to do that. And I've yet to do it. That procrastination thing.
Right. I know. And you're tired.
Okay. If I can. Now, I've told Andrea this 1 billion times.
I know. Many times.
And I will tell Brooke this as well, and then all of our audience. I encourage you, if your phone is at arm's length, to grab it and record your dream on the audio, the audio voice recorder you have on your phone. I did it even last night. I record all my dreams, and then what I do is I refer to that in the morning and I'll write it down. But that gives me that reference that I can go back to remember exactly what happened. So anyway, that's definitely a recommendation that I have. It's been very helpful. I've been using it for years. So, yeah. Anyway, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today, for listening. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Andrea, thank you every week for joining us. And Brooke, I really appreciate you and you taking the time to be so open and honest with us about your experiences. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brooke. It was great meeting you and talking with you as well.
Thanks, you too. We'll have a little party when this quarantine's over.
Yes, definitely.
I am totally in. Now, Andrea and I have never met, but she lives in Ohio. But if you and your family could get here, we'll totally do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Ohio's like a fun place to take a trip to.
Yes, totally. Yeah,
I guess so.
Still looking for that destination.
I think we just invited ourselves over to Andrea's.
Sure. Come on over.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
I don't ever leave the house. I have too many animals. I just dream that I'm going to actually go places. I don't.
No, I do that too. I'm just like that as well.
I pretend I'm going to Ohio. Okay.
That's
awesome.
Funny. Yeah. No, we're off air now, right?
What?
Are we off air now?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That was fine. I was thinking of rambling stuff I was going to say, but no, that's fine.
Okay. Hold on. Let me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. And I appreciate you all. Love you. Take care.